short track race.
Yeah, me and Kenton were talking about it before. What do we think? First 50 seconds, probably a caution.
Oh,
Probably.
these guys always.
Up.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They're actual, like, all of them are actual race car drivers too.
So
Oh.
we are already on the we are already on the race. That's okay. We've skipped the countdown altogether. So welcome everybody to Maine Sim Racing Series. We are in for 125 laps tonight of Slinger Speedway here on JP Broadcasting. I'm one of your commentators here tonight, Hamish Munro, joined with Kenton alongside me as well. We've got Jim Cunningham learning the ropes as a producer in the back end as well. Kenton, this race we predicted, I don't know if the chat caught it when we started, but we think probably a caution within the first 50 seconds of this race would be appropriate.
Yeah, I'd say in the first few laps, there's definitely going to be a caution. As we watch a nice collision crash course go on there. It's a very tricky track if you're not kind of used to it. They call it the world's fastest quarter mile oval, so it's a very fast racing around here. I think the record is just under 10 seconds for a single lap. So 33-degree corners. You can hold a lot of speed, and you can definitely cause problems if you go sideways because cars are coming up quick. And I think you and I chatted about the fact that it's also a figure eight track as well, so you might end up with that sort of fun spin across the track and end up in the middle and with nowhere really to go afterwards.
Yeah, I think this kind of circuit's definitely going to catch out quite a few drivers this evening, especially this car, the late model stock. It's one that can be a little bit ferocious if you do not give it the proper respect. And running it around such a small oval course, which would be more or less known for running legends or street stocks or stuff like that, low-powered stuff. It's a interesting beast to throw around a track like this. And I think for these drivers, I mean, 125 laps. Luckily for us in the feature, cautions are going to count as laps. So, and we predict that this could be one hell of a race, and it could be an absolute barn burner for sure, but also a race where we do see some carnage happening. Luckily, though, in the rules for this race and the supplementary regulations, if someone causes 2 yellows, then they are done for the day in their racing. So it does mean that drivers should, in quotes, and hopefully be a little bit more careful when approaching some battles around this small circuit.
Yeah, it'll definitely add a little bit of a more cautious sort of feeling. And I mean, we kind of talk about it every week when it comes to oval racing, that you don't need to be in first to start the race. There will be cautions, there will be crashes, so it's just be smart and take advantage when you can, but don't trying to force anything is just not going to end well. I mean, we've seen entrance from that pit lane is already sketchy because you're coming off the outside of the track, which is something fairly uncommon for most oval racing. But a definite wrinkle that gets thrown into this track here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, we mentioned those small lap times or those short lap times. I mean, the fastest time in the session is just below 12 seconds long, 11.948 for Brian Conover at the front of the field in practice. So we're going to get through laps very, very quickly around here. I mean, hence why we said a yellow in the first 50 seconds, because realistically that's 5 laps, which would more or less be still below the length of a regular lap of a say a tri-oval like Daytona or Talladega possibly as well. So I think it's going to be a challenge. I mean, this is new ground for me. I've never had the opportunity to call oval racing, which I'm excited for and I'm excited about. And what better way for JP Broadcasting to represent something that is so American by having 2 non-Americans in the booth call the action tonight.
Yeah, it's an ongoing joke that with James and myself that he's more into oval racing than I am, and he's from England, and I'm more into F1 and sport car racing and stuff like that, and I'm Canadian and should be more into kind of this sort of style, but we always get to enjoy that nice little chuckle of him asking every week, "Oh, did you see the NASCAR race?" And me go, "I have no clue what you're talking about. No idea who did anything." He knows everything, and I'm like, "I don't know, whatever."
The most I pay attention to for US oval racing is what Scott McLaughlin or Shane Van Gisbergen is doing. That's about it. I don't check in on it too often. The most US racing that I look at is for IMSA. So, but I do love a very intense oval race. I was a big fan of the Netflix Drive to Survive style series on NASCAR on the end of the 2023 season. So I do think that this sort of racing has a lot to offer. It is a lot of turning left and going real fast, but I think there's something primal and something very, very interesting about that. James in the chat with us, he loves NASCAR. He really does. And, you know, I think he's just hopeful for the opportunity to actually race in a league race where he gets to do oval racing. I mean, when he does get the opportunity to race, that I think that's what he would want the most, is just to have his own little JP Broadcasting, either Mustang or Camaro in the next gen car, or even in the Xfinity car. But yeah, I think, you know, I think for this race tonight, today, this afternoon, wherever you're watching from, I think this is going to be something very, very special, and something that we're going to have the opportunity to see how truly intense Slinger Speedway is in such a fast and ferocious car. I mean, you can see how much the driver's having to wrestle these things around the course, and just how they're having to keep themselves in line, keep themselves in check, and just hitting those marks for every single lap as they just try and keep this thing on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, and it is a little tricky. Obviously, the high banking corners, those 33 degrees, it drops off pretty significantly. I would say an exact number, but it's one thing they do not provide information-wise. So it drops off, but you can see it's not as banked on the straights and what little straight there is. It, obviously, being a quarter mile, you're not getting a whole lot of time going straight. You're pretty much gearing up for corner either 3 or 1 every time you come out of it. So as we do make our way into qualifying, we'll quickly touch on. So we did sort of mention the rules: two yellows and you're done. But we will have this qualifying. There is less than our typical 28, or actually even 20 that we would normally have. So to have to run a heat race, so we will not have to. Most likely, will not have to do a heat, and we'll head right into the 125 lap feature race, which will be fun. They got 1 set of tires in the pits, and it's a fixed iRacing setup, so it will be a lot of fun. And yeah, this track can be definitely tricky for sure.
It is truly going to be just a nice rock up and drive affair for these drivers. The fixed setup, I mean, no heat race to worry about at this stage, because I don't think we're going to get 9 more entries in the next 5 minutes during qualifying at this point. As first laps are already coming in, Rick Thompson's already gone at top of the timing tower with a 12.086, but Ethan Guptill then pips him to be the first into the 11s here in qualifying, 11.978. Brian Conover not able to continue on forward into the 11s as he had done in practice. We had a little drop in from Chris Fortier just then, but then he's just left us for a moment here. He did say in the chat earlier, this one's for Jim as our producer, that Trading Paints needs an update. So if you want to get on that one, Jim, that'd be good. But Kenton, I think, you know, qualifying 2 laps in 5 minutes. I mean, the drivers should, it's going to take him 20 seconds to do 2 laps pretty much. So we might actually be done and dusted with qualifying very, very quickly.
Yeah, it will not be a long endeavor. This is no Nuremberg ring where by the time you're done your warm up lap, you have 10 seconds left. So yeah, you can definitely get your 2 laps in fairly quickly. Not going to have to worry too much there with it being what 25, 26 seconds ish, sort of depending on how you're hitting times, basically on the long end. And I'm excited to see this track. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of speeds they're able to hold when there's a crew of them, not kind of messing around like they do near the end of practice there, and kind of get going and see how when everyone's bearing down going forward.
Do we think we're in a better position having less than those 20 to 28 drivers? Do we think we're in a better position now that it seems odd to say that we may not actually have as much carnage as what we predict. But in saying that, I mean, we could get to a point where there's a car behind one another and they're all in a giant circle going around Slinger Speedway. That could be a real possibility at some point if we just get one big trade going on.
Yeah, you can definitely see it. Although I'll be very curious because I know a couple of these guys, Joey Israelison, he's bloody quick. So is Brian Conover. Matt Mingo's been up there quite a few times. Ed Connolly's always up as well. Same with Tyler. So we could see a lot of sort of train driving, everyone kind of in a line. I think the bigger thing is going to be what happens once we start lapping. Cars, spin out or whatever it is and come back on a couple laps down and you start going by them. And then you just kind of end up with everyone mixed up as entirely throughout the tire track. So you're not really sure who's ahead of you, where they are, because there's like 4 cars that it could be. So I think that'll be more the interesting end of things is once we start getting into lap traffic.
So Matthew Vanneau has just managed to set both of his times in qualifying, puts himself P4 on the timing tower, 12.080 on his time. Interestingly enough, Tyler Connolly, unable to set a time in qualifying. He did both of his laps, did not set a time. And the man with the 3.7 KI rating is now going to have to make his way through the field throughout this race. But with 125 laps, there's surely going to be some semblance of patience about him just to think, there are so many laps I'm going to be doing around here. It'll be, what would be 125 times 10, just over 1,000 seconds that they'll be racing around this place. Plenty of time to make up positions for Tyler and plenty of time to try and make his way up towards the front, especially with only 19 cars in the field. If he was to start P18, it's only 17 positions he's going to gain before he's in P1.
Yeah, it's not a massive sort of thing to overcome in terms of his where positions and stuff like that. The hardest part, I think, will be just making that pass cleanly. These corners, obviously, with the very high banking, you're going to have to really hold on to as much speed as you can. And at the same time, they only have one set of extra tires, so you got to be smart with that and really sort of make sure you focus on trying to save those tires until you need them near the end. And if you do end up needing them in the end, then yeah, at least you have them. But if you burn them out too early and you're halfway through the race and already used your other tires and going through your second set, well, that's not a good time because you definitely need that grip on these kind of tracks. So you just got to be smart about it. Yeah, push, but don't do anything too crazy. It is, as you said, 125 laps. It's not a quick little 30-minute little hop out go on Daytona where you never have to worry about changing tires or tire wear in any capacities. So just be a little smart, but take advantage when the opportunities do arise.
15-minute warm-up now to come. So the drivers now have got 15 minutes just to either get themselves mentally prepared, get themselves physically prepared, make sure the car's in check as well, make sure that they are just hitting their marks, and not that they're going to be using the whole of the 15 minutes to get used to the track. It's only 2 corners and only a quarter mile long. But using this time just to make sure that their minds are in check and make sure that they are actually switched on for this, because they're going to need to be switched on. They're going to need to be at full pressure, full power throughout this race. And, as I've just seen Matthew Vanneau full send into pit lane, they're going to have to be willing to send it at some points, but also have some caution about them as well, as we mentioned. Now, one thing I've just realized too is, luckily for Tyler Connolly, the way that iRacing organizes drivers in the grid when they don't set laps is they organize them by their iRating. He's actually gained a spot in qualifying, starting from P17, not P18. So slightly less positions, or one less position he now has to gain throughout this race. We've got some chats out there. Rick Thompson in the chat with us. How are you boys doing tonight? Doing very, very well. Thank you very much, Rick. It's 11:30 in the morning for me, so I'm having a great day thus far. And for you, Kenton, I mean, Canadians.
I'm doing well. Yeah.
Have some poutine, have some Tim Hortons. Hope that your team makes the Stanley Cup playoffs in a few months. I'm hoping that mine does. So we should be on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know my footy team's getting warmed up. Preseason started on that too. So. Yeah.
Well, luckily
I actually play footy here.
Well, my footy team won the premiership last year, so I'm very happy about that.
That was what? No, it wasn't Brisbane. Was it Brisbane?
Was Brisbane. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, I can't remember. Trounced the
We
Swans. Yep.
yeah,
I watched
Sydney
it. It was ugly.
Sydney forgot to get on their plane to Melbourne.
Yeah.
Last year. So yeah, but I'm hoping the Oilers can finally win the cup after their
Ugh.
loss in Game 7 last year to the Panthers. So
Yeah, no, I'm good without the Oilers winning as so I'm from Calgary.
oh well, yeah. So yeah, you'd want Calgary to win.
Yeah, I don't want I'm okay if Calgary doesn't win, but
Well,
I'm more okay if Edmonton doesn't win. Like if Calgary doesn't win, like then it's not expected. As long as it's not Edmonton that wins, it's a little more palatable.
With the Atlanta Flames, should they have ever resituated to Calgary? I don't know, contentious take possibly, but
whether they should have gone to Calgary, that's up for debate. But they definitely should not have stayed in Atlanta. That's been a hotbed for terrible games.
I'm just disappointed that the Thrashers didn't stay there. That was a shame.
Great logo.
I do think fantastic logo. I do think that Atlanta deserves an NHL team for sure. But I mean, it's one of the biggest cities on the eastern side of the US. It's a major city. I think they definitely deserve one. I mean, if Hartford can have a team, surely Atlanta can. You know, like if you're going to give it to somewhere where they play in the Mall of America, give it to Atlanta, please. But
just need owners that are willing to actually, spend the money to keep the team instead of just giving up on it.
And if you look at the last two expansion teams of Vegas and Seattle, they're doing okay. They're doing pretty well. Vegas has won a cup, so
yeah,
Seattle might win a cup very soon as well.
They need better goaltending. Oh, Joey Decord is not the way you want to go at all. But it's a little sketchy there. Does Rochester count? I'm trying to remember who's Rochester. Their farm team that they have there, because I know they have a hockey team there. It's I believe it's AHL. I should remember.
Wouldn't Rochester be for
the Americans?
Yeah, because they're for the Islanders.
I think so. Yeah, I believe it's the Islanders. Yeah. I could be wrong. I don't know.
No, it'd be the Rangers because they're the Americans. Hey. And the Rangers were formerly the New York Americans. So that would be why.
Way back.
Yeah, way back.
Way back. Good times.
Oh, for sure. One thing though that we are on for is some other good times in this race.
They're actually from Buffalo. Figure that one out.
Oh, well, there you go.
Okay.
Yep. Well, we're on for such a fantastic team. Can you tell we're trying to fill for time here at just a moment whilst we hit the warm-up session? But you can tell this thing's going to have an electricity about it. It's definitely going to get some intensity about this race as well, Kenton, because 125 laps, max time of an hour and 40 minutes as well. If we go 140 minutes at Slinger Speedway, there's something in the waters at Slinger if that were to happen. But I do think that we could be in for something very, very special as well. Okay, so Jim wants to give us his expertise on short track racing. As someone who has more expertise than myself and Kenton combined, most likely, Jim, I would think James would be okay with that.
Yeah, I just, how can you not get excited for an old American short track race? Guys, and of course, all these guys are apparently real race car drivers. They already hardworking guys that are paying for these cars and budgets. And they get out. They get out here and have a lot of fun and bang and fight and they holler at each other.
Yeah, we might need Maine Sim Racing to just put in a little caveat into the broadcasting contract that we can have the chat enabled during the broadcast, because I feel like that would be absolutely fantastic. Our starting grid though for this race, Ethan Gupta will start pole position ahead of Brian Conover. Joey Israelson will start ahead of Matthew Vano on P3 and P4. Rick Thompson and Matt Mingo will make up the third row of the grid with Tyler Jordan and Justin Galoo for your top 8. David Greenleaf and Dustin Pickle will make up your top 10, with Ed Connolly and James Brackett for your top 12. Cole Watts and Arthur Jordan will then make up the top 14 with Roy Sparg and Nathan Leavitt on your top 16. Tyler Connolly will make up our rolling grid I'm unsure if Ryan Mottery will be starting this race, as Chris Fortier is just in there to be a bit of a racing steward for us. Make sure that no one out there is doing anything too innocuous, too improper, and trying to keep these guys and their fiery egos and their fiery driving styles in check throughout this race. Because 125 laps, it's a lot of opportunities for cautions to happen. Someone needs to be on top of it when we have got the rule that if you cause 2 yellows, you are out of the race. So, Kenton, it's crunch time. Drivers are going to have some semblance of patience about them. How patient do you think these guys are going to be, especially Tyler Connolly at the back of the field trying to make his way up towards the front?
Patience-wise, I think it'll be very interesting. I know guys are going to try and make moves pretty early, try and get into a good spot before everything sort of gets into that single-file lineup as they make their way through. But as much as you want to just go, you got lots of time to go. So as long as they're smart about it, it's going to be very fast as we are underway. That is very short formation laps. I forgot how tiny this track is as they go ripping through. And it does look like we are going to get a very smooth getaway. Kind of shocked.
We've gone without immediate caution as Joey Israelson has taken the lead of the race. Matt Vanu in P2. He's already up 2 spots. Ethan Guptill, Brian Conover getting caught out off the race start as well. As we can see, some of them being forced out on the higher line, getting washed out as well towards the wall further back as we run our way around. We've already hit lap 3, about to hit lap 4 of Slinger Speedway. So these laps are going to come quick and fast. And if we're not careful, we may see some cautions coming quick and fast too, as Matt and Ethan go side by side through both of the corners. These guys, if they had their way, may try and run side by side the whole way around this race, as the 8-4 of Matt Vanu gets caught out and then sent a little bit further back into the clutches of Brian Conover as well.
Yeah, it's they definitely, thankfully, know how to drive side by side pretty well. Because those are some sketchy corners to be trying to hit that side by side movement all the way through here. But they did it well, did it nice and smooth. I know Brian Conover is going to want to try and slot in, as it looked like he was being held down off the wall. So try and take as much advantage of what little straightaway there is coming off. So just set yourself up for that next corner. But we can see, looked like there might have been something going sideways, but a little further back. But everyone's still pointing out the right direction, so that's always a bonus.
Yeah, they're still rolling around. Some drivers just getting slowed up a little bit, getting caught out from some of these battles, getting some wiggles through some corners as well. The 9-7 of Brian.
There's
Conover.
our first one.
Yep, that is our first yellow of the race. Unsure who caused it at this stage.
It looked like Tyler Jordan got a little sideways going through. I'm not 100% sure if it was, we'll call it helped, or if he was, it looks like, I think that's the 84 there of Matthew Venant, who was just give him a little tough, little love tap.
The 29 had lost its rear end and then slotted straight into the side of the 70 car. I was just having a look at a replay then on my side. That's okay, Jim. That's okay. Normally it's in the incident thing. I just click on yellow flag and that's when I find it. But that's all good. We are under caution. The first caution. I was about to mention as well, Kenton, that we had gone past the 50-second mark that I called for the first caution. We actually made it through, I think it was nearly 10 laps. So we went nearly 100 seconds without a caution. But the first one has been called. Luckily for us, caution laps do count in this race here this evening. So we are still going to be ticking over the laps as we cross the line around this circuit. And the safety car is in. We are going to be going racing once again at the commencement of lap 14. The 3 of Joey Israelson leads the way. He will lead this field for green flag running once again at Slinger Speedway.
Single file restarts.
I think you might be behind Jim on your share screen at the moment. Just click live. There we go.
Oh yeah, no, we're going double field. As we come towards the restart, it looks like the safety truck is out of the way.
He is indeed.
And we are back off. Israelison, as Israelison, I got to chat with him. Him and I have to have a talk and see how he gets away so easily. Every week, he seems to just get a massive jump right away and create a lot of space. Oh, and we have another caution.
Yeah, it's the 36 of, I think Levitt is off the road again, possibly. For whatever reason, he has ended up off the road, but the yellow flag has been called. And the safety car, oh my God, I'm just watching it on my screen. The safety car has just absolutely plowed through the field to get through the front. Luckily, no one gets taken out by it. But we're under yellow. So they do say safety cars breed safety cars, Kenton. And, well, we may be here for a little while longer, just going yellow after yellow after yellow here at Slinger Speedway. Are we going to get a period as long as we had at the start of this race now where we are green flag?
It's hard to say. I know with safety cars, like you said, safety yellows breed yellows, and short tracks are a great incubator because man, are they ever popular here. So it's definitely something we'll have to keep an eye on and kind of hope. I wouldn't be surprised if we're able to get another kind of stint like that at the beginning where a little, some good green flag running, but they'll have to sort of clean it up here.
Yeah, we're going green once again on this lap. So a short yellow period is going to get us going once again. We need to try and keep a running tally of who's causing these yellows so we know who's at risk of getting chucked out of this race. We're underway once again. The 3 of Israelson gets it off the line absolutely magically as Guptill and Conover battle, as well as Galoo and Vano and Thompson, and they're swapping and changing positions like it's nobody's business further back in the field, almost 3 wide at certain sections, but they're still running side by side abreast through these corners as Israelson has had a ripper start, drivers into the wall as they exit the final corner. Oh, they need to be careful because some of these, some of those wall taps are okay every now and again, but the more and more that you get those, the more and more it's going to hurt the car. And eventually the car will break as someone's front end has just fallen off further back in the field.
Yeah, missing car parts on short track racing. That seems like, as I always say, just slap some duct tape on it, and then James typically brings up that they have sheets of duct tape now, like full sheets.
They do. They do. I saw it at the Daytona 24 Hour. One of the Corvettes had like a giant sheet of yellow duct tape holding the rear tail light in. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's I didn't even know that they made basically full sheets of paper just of duct tape now.
Yeah.
I assume that was because of oval racing, and I'm pretty sure you come into a pit stop in any oval car whatsoever, and immediately the first things they grab are duct tape and some super glue and or snips, and you're ready to go, right? So
what else
it's
do you
interesting.
need to fix a car that is not duct tape, a hammer, or cable ties? I mean, do you need anything else? I don't think so. Has the 16 has just quickly been found to be running at the back of the track, but he's going once again. I think I figured out the issue with some of these liveries on Jim's end. Nothing that we can do about it now is you mustn't have the box ticked for show custom car numbers, Jim. That'll be why some of these liveries are not showing up, because some of these drivers do indeed have custom car numbers on their cars, but that is okay. That's something that we know now for future. That's all good. But we're nearly 10 minutes into this race. We've already got 2 cautions under our belt, Kenton. So, we're running through these laps. We are already a quarter of the way through this race.
Yeah, and I mean, quietly done, but still making movement forwards. Connolly is up to P11 now, so he's slowly making his way through and doing what he needs to do. Like we spoke about, you got to make those moves, but you don't need to make them lap 1. So my favorite thing to bring up is to finish first. First, you have to finish, and with oval racing, it's very true. You can't win on lap 1. You sure can lose. So being smart and taking his time, making the moves when they can, and keep it going.
He's made another position now as well. He's now up 7 positions. I was about to say, because I love giving out some stats and some little arithmetic for you. First quarter of the race, he made up 6 spots. He was in P11, so he realistically had 10 spots to gain. As we have another yellow flag, another caution out on track, another appearance of the iRacing safety truck, as Cole Watts has had a moment further back in the field. I was about to say that, we have 90 laps to go. He could get to P1 in 60 laps, and then run P1 for the last 30. That'd be a perfect quarter moment for him, as Watts had a slight little spin there on the 27. Got it going once again. No damage, which was good. We haven't had a big crash just yet. No big one just yet, which is good to see. It's a lot of self-inflicted yellows that are occurring, which, again, would come down to a little bit of unluckiness for some drivers if they were to cause 2 yellows that way, because that's just unfortunate timing. It's not like you've wrecked the entire field, Kenton, to cause the yellow, but you've just more or less lost talent at that point.
Oh, yes, and if there's anyone who knows all about losing talent in the middle of a race, it is me. I've done it my fair share of times. Actually, I was just... I did the Daytona 24-hour, and I only had 14 incidents in 140 laps, I think I ended up running. So
I did the Raw, and I think I had 6, and I ended up winning in the LMP3 class. So
nice.
Yeah. It was bottom split, as we're about to go green once again. It was bottom split, but a win's a win. It's not where my I rating should be, so hopefully that's the road to better. As we are under green flag conditions once again at Slinger Speedway. As is Ralston proving again that he has just got the acumen to get onto the throttle. Just in absolute perfection. These restarts, he's arguably the best of the entire field. He is leaving them for dead every time he gets going. Leaving them for a nap, it seems. Do we think maybe he bought these guys a blanket and a pillow for Christmas, maybe, Kenton, and that's why he's able to get going so well?
Just able to put them to sleep right away, singing lullabies in between every one of these. Yeah, no, I don't know. He does really well on these restarts on any track, it seems like. I don't know if he just really throws that practice in, but even last week at the Chili Bowl, he was having some phenomenal restarts in the little minis, and those things are hilarious because you put too much throttle at all and you're popping a wheelie, and they're a little hard to control at that point. So, but no, he absolutely phenomenal restarts for him, and he just is able to get such a great restart every time, and it's fun to see.
Just saw in the background as well that Dustin Pickle had ended up having an off track. He had a half spin that put him into the infield, but he got going again. No yellow thrown for that one. As we continue around Slinger Speedway. And
I don't know if you saw the chat there, but this is James's like favorite thing to bring up every week, and I'm actually kind of scared because next week we're actually at Martinsville.
Of course, yes, and he is going to every 5 seconds talk about his Martinsville 500 win in the Mazda.
It's a fun chat we have every week. Did you know I won the Martinsville, and I
don't like to bring up the Raw win too much, obviously, because I don't want to gloat that I won the Raw. I pretty much just mention it to someone who I broadcast with fresh. So if we're talking about racing, we're talking about wins, I just quietly mention that I won the Raw. Other than that, I was making up for the year before where I got taken out by a GT4 car when I was in the lead. So
yeah, I've got only one special event win, and it was not because of me at all. As you know, we can see David Greenleaf had also gone off. Not sure if we caught that, but it looks like he is. Yeah, I was gonna say he had a little bit of an incident and went for a break himself. But we not because of me, but won the LMP2 in Sebring 12-hour.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, it was not because of me. I had a ringer. He did most of the work.
Apparently, Jim, there's no game audio. So make sure that your iRacing is unmuted. According to James, I've been told in the annals of information. So David Greenleaf's actually ended up in the pit lane after that moment. He's now gone 6 laps down. So I don't know if his race is necessarily done, or if he's back out on track just yet.
It doesn't look it's now 7. Yeah.
So he's out. So Mr. Greenleaf has abandoned this race.
I think Arthur Jordan and him and Greenleaf are going to be enjoying a nice cold beer somewhere after. Not their day.
So. Oh no, Nathan Levitt has just come out of the pit lane, and he has caused an absolute pile up as they've come round. So that's another caution for us.
There goes the safety truck pulling a drift around the corners. I love how the safety cars work in this game. In this sim, it's so much fun just watching them rip through corners.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was absolutely ferocious for the 36. So under caution once again is Railson, still in the front of the field. Connor is still with him. As Connolly, where is he gone? Oh, he's at the back of the field. He was caught out in that incident. It seems.
Yeah, I don't
with Leave It.
It looked like he kind of hit one of the dividers on the outside of the track, and that kind of shoved him back down into everyone, and then just caused an absolute chaos afterwards. So unfortunate for Nathan Levitt, but he's going to have a few laps to go now to get back into. So I think he's already 2 laps down, but he's going to have a few laps to get repaired, put back together, get those duct tape sheets out.
As the safety car is about to come into pit lane once again. So green flag running and we hit the line this time by. Have we sorted out our game sound issues, Jim? Just quickly. Very good. Very good. As we are under green, and Israelson has proven it once again. We've nearly caught another caution off the back of the restart. Some toing and froing and some... We have got the caution again, actually. That was, well, we've been green about not even 10 seconds, Kenton. So we are once again under caution, and that is the reason why. A little touch on the back of the 11. And that has caused the safety truck to come back out.
I'm going to hold on to it because, last time this happened, we went right away back to a long green stint before, like we had back-to-back yellows and then a long green stint. So we're slowly making our way through.
We are indeed. Yeah, actually, I was surprised. That's probably the longest green period we had before the last caution. I think we went about 20-odd laps without one. So now in the span of that, we've had 2.
Yeah, that's it does happen. But, it looked like someone just, when they hit the throttle down, just kind of got a little spicy on the back end and swung out and almost caused problems. Thought they got away with it, but not quite.
We are, not to pardon the pun, we are racing through this, though. We are halfway through this race and only 18 minutes into it. So we are on track for a just over half an hour race, which I can appreciate, being that it is 125 laps. But
yeah, short track racing is great. It's in, out, and gone real fast.
Yeah. Well, this is reminding me of the fact that the rookie small ovals are 40 laps long, but they only go for 10 minutes. So it's crazy how that can work out. But for Israelson, he just has to do what he's been doing the whole race, Kenton. Just has to put his foot down off the start, get a ripper start. He has done that again, right on the apex of the low line of the final corner. And he's caught all of them out. Conover's gone with him, though, trying to get the job done on Thompson around towards the start-finish line once again. We are down to 12 cars left on the lead lap of this race. If we're halfway through, that means we're on track to only have, I think, 8 or 7 cars left on the lead lap by the end of this race if we were to lose as many as we have throughout the first 60-odd laps. We are now on lap 68 or lap 69 of this race. Nice. As we continue across the line for lap 70 as well. So we're ripping through the lap times, ripping through the laps as well, Kenton. Slowly but surely getting through caution periods, slowly but surely getting into green periods as well. Hopefully, you mentioned that we are, we've had the 2 cautions in a row. Now we can go green for a little bit and just settle in for a long stint.
Yeah, if they don't go green for long periods of times, how are you and I supposed to just talk about random things, go into random stories? I actually have someone I can talk footy with because James didn't even know that it's pronounced Melbourne, not Melbourne.
Yep.
It's always fun.
It's
right?
fantastic.
Yeah, it's Melbourne.
Melbourne.
I was informed of this very early.
That's the same. There's Melbourne. There's Well, you could say Cranbourne, but it is it's Cranbourne. Do I say Cranbourne or Cranbourne? I don't even know. I don't say Cranbourne. The Bourne is not so pronounced, but as the 2-7 just had a half swimmer under caution once again. So we do actually have an opportunity to talk about pronunciations and Melbourne a little bit more.
One that always throws me is Geelong.
Yeah, Geelong. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of Americans say Geelong because of
Yeah.
the two E's, or a lot of Canadians might say that as well. But yeah, Geelong. So, and then obviously Perth, Sydney, Adelaide, Brisbane, Darwin. We're just getting all
Sorry,
the Australianisms out.
it's actually pronounced Radelaide.
Oh yeah, it is Radelaide. It is. I can appreciate that. You know, see, this is why Canadians are cool. They get it. They get it. It must be our Commonwealth connection at this point.
Oh, my wife's a Adelaide Crows fan, so I, by extension, I guess, ended up being an Adelaide Crows fan. So
I'm very sorry for that for you.
Radelaide.
I'm incredibly sorry for that for you to be a Crom fan, especially at this time as well.
Yeah, it's been it was a rough year.
To have the double bubble of Adelaide and Calgary, I mean, that's got to suck. It's really got to suck.
I mean, at least Calgary looks good. The Flames jerseys are slick. I'll give them that.
It's true. The Flames do. Oh, the bounding Mustang jersey is peak, absolute peak.
Blasty.
Oh,
Blasty's his name.
Blasty, yeah.
Blasty's, yeah. It's phenomenal. Plus, I mean, it's been fun watching Dustin Wolf kind of grow into the #1 goalie. So that's at least been exciting.
Yeah, I think Calgary have definitely got opportunities to be good.
And
getting under green once again, Israelson. I mean, he is just peak of his powers on restarts, isn't he? He is just able to get that power down in this car. He's definitely been practicing restarts all week for sure, and he has proven it once again. There's a little bit of a tangle as well, further inside the top 10. We're down to now 11 cars left on the lead lap. Unfortunately, Tyler Connolly has gone a lap down on the field, so he's got some work to do. Big contact though with Vanu and Sprague. That's now dropped them down towards the back end of the top 10, and we are under caution once again, and we are now back to, as JP's in the chat with us still, and we're now back to talking about more NHL. Australian.
Back to the hockey talk. Yeah,
back
Aussies and we've in our Tuesday night one, we have an Aussie that's in there, and him and I will go back and forth in Aussie jargon, and it's a lot of fun. No, not Biggles, but Biggles I do with too. Yeah, myself and his name's Seth, but we had a full-on conversation that in just straight up Aussie slang, and literally people were like, "I have no idea what's being said."
It's okay. It's okay. Me and Biggles, we destroyed the graveyard shift of the 23-hour race for mental health by just making it a full Australian hours of power across that 6 or 8 hours that we were in there together. We had a great time. Okay, so we're on board with Brian Conover. So we might actually sit on board with him here for this restart, just to see how good Israelson is off these restarts as the safety car comes in. So we're going to be going green. We're going to get a POV of how good Israelson's restarts have been in this race. Can Conover go with him as we're about to go green once again? Look at how Israelson's just able to get it going. He goes green at the same time every single restart we have here, Kenton. You would think that these guys would clock on by now, maybe try and get on the power a little bit earlier as Conover's into the wall. Conover and
that'll cause a yellow.
Yep, that should cause the yellow. It has indeed. Conover and Thompson into the wall. And now puts Brackett up 10 spots into P2 on the road. Ed Connolly, that is, up 8 into P3. Pickles up 6 into P4. And for Israelson, well, his night is getting better and better. And I've just noticed as well, there's a reason why his restarts are so good. He's got a 5.5K I rating. So you would think over the period that he would get good at restarts at some point.
I mean, it's entirely possible. And I mean, just even looking at his sort of bio that we have, he did race in 2013 in the iRacing Pro Series, so he might know a thing or two about how to restart and how to get it going. And
that was 12 years ago. You dropped skills over time, surely.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know what.
Based on his restarts, I'm going to say no.
I don't know what feels worse though, admitting that 2013 was 12 years ago now, or admitting that actually no, someone does not lose something over 12 years if they consistently do it.
Yeah, and yeah. I know for me, I've lost a lot of different talents over those 12 years. But he's got some fun sponsors. So Connolly's Plumbing and Heating, Levitt Racing, Lakeside Graphics, and JJ Racing. So good old Joey Israelison just doing his thing, keeping it going.
And we are now at the point that only 9 cars left on the lead lap as well. So just wanted to point that out to everyone as we're under green once again. Israelson proving that he has the onus over the field and proving that he has the abilities to get this thing restarted to absolute perfection. This is all he has to do for the rest of this race. For the next 31 laps, all he needs to do is just perfect those restarts, keep the car at the front, and the rest of the field will take care of themselves as well. They can't lose what you didn't have, Kenton. Oh, JP's just here for a great time. He's here just absolutely loving
exactly
that.
See, that's the beauty, though. Yeah, if I had no skills, you can't lose those skills. So,
well, it's just true.
That's why I bring up other people to drive in races for me, and I just kind of sit in the back and do my own thing, and then let them take over. It's great.
You can lose luck like I have, where you get taken out, and then by proxy lose iRating by not finishing races after being taken out. But you know, unless you've got the skill, you can't lose it if you don't have it. So
exactly. Yeah. I mean, I can just say, James trying to be a sassy little thing. I can just ask him how that our dirt race at Bristol went, and
I could ask him how his season in supercars went last year.
Ooh, yeah. Let's hear how that one went, James.
He had
talking about skills.
He had some pretty good outings, but again, actually, to be fair to James, he was actually very unlucky in some races. He got caught out by other people having incidents. He didn't have a lot of incidents on his own, apart from when we went to Long Beach. That was then when he struggled a little bit. But
Long Beach itself is an incident, so
I love Long Beach. I feel if you approach that track with love and affection, it will repay it with cuddles and kisses. Like it's, you know, whether they're with the walls or whether they're with a champagne bottle at the end. That's for you to decide and for how you approach
That's what the cuddling is the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the kissing is when you hit another car. That's what that is.
Yeah.
But, you know, you could get lucky and, again, get to kiss a simulated champagne bottle at the end by finishing on the podium. It's up to you how you want to approach it. I have the same mindset of racing at Bathurst as I do at Long Beach. If you respect it, 9 times out of 10, you'll come off nice and clean.
Yeah, I'm already scared for the Bathurst 12.
Already scared. If I race that, we're going full Mugen V-Power. Just accurate all the way.
Yeah. I feel like for Bathurst, though, I'm going to have to bust out some Vegemite. You know, just get myself a nice...
As long as you apply it properly and do not eat a spoonful, you're fine. Yeah, plenty of butter, the most minute amount of Vegemite. You can then melt some cheese on the top of the bread. It is a great combination.
All right, I'll make sure I'll have that going.
Yeah, we've had someone pull into pit lane. That was, I believe, Matt Mingo into the pits.
Oh, I want to say he's our eighth place driver, and he's our last one, and no longer. So now we only have 7 guys on the lead lap.
He had his black flags cleared, so he did not have a penalty. He's actually come in and he's still in.
Might he just grab new tires there?
Yeah, most likely. Where's he going? He's going into the pit lane, James. That's where the pit lane is at Slinger Speedway. It's on the
weirdest direction.
Yeah, it is like a dirt road course. It's on the outside of the track.
Yeah, you got to go all the way around, and you go in at the entry-ish of turn 2, and you come out on the exit of turn 4, all the way around the outside of the track.
Yep. So it's a bit like the New Hampshire road course. You kind of just leave the circuit and eventually you come back on. As we continue on through, it's a weird road course. It's pretty much all oval apart from a little section. It just cuts out and goes out into the trees. As Tyler Connolly, I have just noticed, has been rocketing his way back through the field, is back onto the lead lap, and is back up into P2, up 15 spots. And all of a sudden, Israelson is going to have some pressure on the next restart when Connolly is right on his tail. But we have a double Connolly podium at the moment with just over 10 laps to go. So we are quick and fast approaching the end of this race. as we have 10 laps left. Can we get another caution in those 10 laps? Well, with only 7 cars left on the lead lap, it doesn't seem very likely, but it could definitely happen. Anything can happen as Thompson Jr. is dropping spots in his battles further back in the field. On board now with Tyler Connolly. He is on the chase down of Joey Israelson, is the 11. So the 3 and the 11, are they going to go one-on-one at the end of this race for the win? There's a bit of biffing and barging in the mid-pack here, Kenton, so it's definitely elbows out hour with less than 10 laps to go.
Oh yeah, elbows are definitely going to be swinging. I'm enjoying that Justin Gallo has the no bumper look going, no front bumper look as he's making his way around.
He has had that the whole race. He lost that on the first portion and has just been rocking it the whole time.
It's like the prototype before they actually went to the Wayland end of thing. It's just that design there, just that
his car is a mullet.
Created it.
It's short front and sides, long tail. Yeah, his car is a mullet in the 43, so I can appreciate it. He's got a good flow and a good head of lettuce on him. Does the 40.
We're also down to 6 drivers on the lead lap right now.
Can we drop it even further? We can, as Ray Sprague has just had to tow back to pits, I think. Or he's just gone a mass lap down. He must be on the infield of the field. But now down to the top 5 being left on the lead lap. With only a couple of laps to go. So it looks as if Israelson is not going to give up this win.
Yeah, no, Israelson's just, he's bloody quick. And he really gets these short tracks and has himself an absolute phenomenal race almost every time. It's always exciting to watch, too. He is very fast. Very smart as he's actually about to go past the 59 there of Roy Sprague as well.
And he's out of the white flag. So final lap for Joey Israelson. He has led the majority of this race through restarts and through cautions as he takes the checkered. Joey Israelson takes the win at Slinger Speedway. Tyler Connolly up 15 spots into P2. Thomas Brackett gets onto your podium with Dustin Pickle and Matt Vanu, the only other drivers left on the lead lap for your top 5 here for Maine Sim Racing Series. And the late model stocks at Slinger Speedway. 125 laps in just under half, or just over half an hour. That went by very quick, Kenton, even with cautions with us on track.
It was a lot less cautions than I think any of us really expected. It was a lot of fun, and I'm happy about it. But it was a lot. It was cleaner than I think we expected.
Yeah, I think that came down to probably the field size as well, because it's a race of attrition. So the more that drivers dropped out due to cautions or through to damage, that then obviously gave us less of a pool size of drivers to actually give us those cautions as well. So I think that was a big factor too. But I mean, what a race! Nice little short, sharp 4-minute race it was in the end. So we got there in the end, and well, what a race for Israelson. He led the majority of the laps. He's at the highest I rating in this series for a reason, and that's because he's got skills that pay the bills, and he's managed to take the win. Connolly, he had a fantastic run. As we await our results to come up on screen as well. As Israelson takes the win, Connolly P2 on the road. Brackett makes up your podium. There's only 2 digits that make up the top 3. That's 3 and 1. The 3 of Israelson, the 11 of Connolly, and the 31 of Brackett for your top 3. Then it's Pickle P4 for number 10. The Matthew Vanu, the only other driver left on the lead lap inside your top 5. Justin Gallo for your top 6. Matt Mingo, Ray Sprague, Ethan Guptill, and Rick Thompson Jr. make up your top 10. Brian Conover, Ed Connolly, while they were in the wars this evening in P11 and P12. Tyler Jordan, Cole Watts never made it past lap 100 in this race. Neither did Nathan Levitt, David Greenleaf, and Arthur Jordan as well. Ryan Moddery never made the start. So we had 17 starters, 5 of them finishing on the lead lap. I've lost my words there for a moment, but yes, only 5 drivers on the lead lap. Incredible that can happen, and that they can be separated by nearly a full lap. Vanu, if there was maybe 5 more laps there, Kenton might have actually been lapped eventually by the leader.
Yeah, I think even a couple more laps, he Ethan was, what, 10.4 seconds back, and it was about 12 seconds a lap for Joey Israelson. So yeah, it definitely could have become a thing. But I mean, Joey had absolute flyer of a race there. He led all 125 laps, even though I believe he actually started P3, but took over like right away and just wasn't touched after that.
So we've got our podium finishers in the waiting room at this stage. We'll start by having a chat to P3, Thomas Brackett. Mr. Brackett, what an interesting run at Slinger Speedway. Full of cautions, full of carnage. You managed to find your way up 9 spots and onto the podium. How does it feel to get that one done? And how does it feel to survive the absolute carnage of Slinger Speedway in these late model stocks?
Feels pretty good. I'm just glad I finished the race. I've only had iRacing for a few months, so just glad to compete.
Well, to only have it for a few months and already have yourself a 2K I rating, you must be on a podium here this evening. You've definitely got some skills about you, and you're able to find yourself around some of these shorter circuits. How did you find the combination of a short oval with this late model stock car? We know it's got a fair bit of power about it, and obviously this track's only a quarter mile long. How was it traversing this place and getting up, not only up to pace, but actually getting clean in this car and just keeping it on the road throughout the entirety of the 125 laps?
You got to drive it in a lot deeper than you think you can. And that's how you stay on the bottom. If you slow up, you slide up in the middle, or at least that's what I felt like. So just driving it hard really helped me.
Well, I think, that's this car and this sort of circuit, it definitely asks that you try and push it as hard as possible and try and find every little moment that you can gain some pace and gain some confidence. It really brings it out of you in a driver as well. Thomas, is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to, or anything that you want to say before we let you go this evening?
Yeah, I got to thank JSR Services and Boss Dog Racing. That's it.
Very good. Well, congratulations on your P3 here at Slinger Speedway. Best of luck in the next round of the Maine Sim Racing Series. We look forward to seeing how you go when you're next out on track.
I appreciate it, and thank you guys for broadcasting. This is real fun.
No worries at all. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Next up, we have got Tyler Connolly, P2 on the road, up 15 positions in this race, the most positions gained of anyone on track. Tyler, a tough race for you. It seemed at one point you made some spots, you then dropped some spots, and then magically found your way back up into P2 on the road, up 15. How was this race for you, and how was it traversing through some of the carnage out on circuit this evening?
Race went pretty good. I messed up in qualifying. I hit the wall a little bit and didn't get a lap. I had to start from the back, got damaged early. I was still back there with only like 50 laps to go, so I decided to take tires and hope for a caution and get the lucky dog.
Well, you managed to get that alongside and get yourself back up towards the front of the town. Do you think maybe if you had a couple more laps or another caution, you might have been able to put the pressure on Israelson to take back the lead?
I don't know. He was fast all day. I think it would have been a good race if I could have got to him.
I think it's definitely something that could have been, I think, an exciting prospect if we could have seen it between you both. I mean, he's got the highest star rating in the session. You had the third highest star rating in the session. So you guys have definitely got some skills about both of you, of course. But how does it, is it sort of it was a knuckle down moment for you to try and move your way forward and get back up onto that podium?
Yeah, I was trying to get him. He was talking to me the whole entire race in Discord. I was just trying to beat him, but I couldn't get him. Needed a few more laps.
Oh, well, it's it doesn't always go your way, but P2 on the road still a good result. Some good points next to your name as well. Is there anyone, Tyler, you want to give a shout out to, or anything you want to say before we let you go this evening?
Sure. My dad, my brother Joey, who won. Levitt Racing, Connolly's Pumpkin Eating. That's about it.
Very good, Tyler. Well, best of luck next time you're out on track in the Maine Sim Racing Series. Hopefully you can get the win next time over Joey.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have our race winner in Joey Israelson. He led for the majority of laps of this race. He was up 2 positions, had a ripper race start as well. Joey, you got the win. You proved why you've got the highest I rating in this entire field, and pretty much every single restart you went at the exact same time, and it caught everybody every single time you're on restarts. First of all, how do you perfect restarts like that and keep the lead at every single green flag that this race had?
Wow. First off, that was a great race. But man, those restarts, there's so many of them. But yeah, I just kept on trying to just launch right at the right time. It's pretty much the center of the corner. And as soon as I do it, the green flag was coming out. So I was getting really lucky. Uh, the first one, man, I don't know how I got around Ethan and Brian underneath them to get the lead. Like I think I led every lap, which I don't get. I didn't touch anybody. So it was a fun race.
Now, did you feel any sorts of pressure from, obviously from those restarts, but also from Tyler, who was trying to chase you down with about 50 odd laps to go? We mentioned to him that maybe if there was a couple more laps, maybe 5 or so, he might have had the opportunity to catch up to the back of you, or even if there was another caution. Was that in the back of your mind, or was it more so just concentrate on hitting your marks, try not to have an incident, and just try and make that checkered flag in the end?
That's a good question. It was right up until around lap 10. I think he got second. Maybe it was 15. When I saw him get into second, I knew it was time to go. Those new tires were flying. He's my little brother, so I know he's a good racer. I've taught him well over the years, and we're always talking in Discord. So I knew he was coming. I saw him. I just didn't want to get involved with lap cars, but no, he wasn't going to get around me.
You pulled the typical big brother move. You just like, no, no, little bro, it's not happening. You're not getting past me. Sorry, this is my race to win at this point. But Joey, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, or anything you want to say to us before we let you go this evening?
Yeah, I've been super sick with the flu all week, so I got to thank my girlfriend for taking care of me. This is the first time I got out of bed all day. Uh, so I'm sitting here just sweating, just sick. Got the cold shakes. I got my car builder, Nate Levitt racing. My dad, Ed Conley. Just JSR Services, Boss Dog Racing, Tommy Brackett's my teammate in real life. So it's just cool to see a 1, 2, 3 from the boys today.
Oh, so we might have actually suspected that Ed was Tyler's brother, but it's the other way around. You and Tyler are brothers, and Ed is your dad. Very, very interesting. But Joey, congratulations. A great race from you. A win under your belt as well. And you also have just completely dogged the entire field by saying that you won whilst you had the flu. So if that doesn't break the spirits of other drivers in this field, I don't know what would. But great job this evening. Congratulations on your race win. Best of luck next time you're out on track here in Maine Sim Racing Series.
Hey, thank you guys for putting on the show. It's great watching it.
No worries at all. Thank you so much.
Yep, thanks.
Well, Kenton, 125 laps. Ran through it very, very quickly. We got some interesting lore on some of these drivers in that little interview period then. And the fact that that Joey has just pulled that big brother move over Tyler and just really proven his prowess in a car and proven that he is the better of the two. But, you know, anything else before we're going to sign off on this one?
Yeah, he definitely kept his brother in his place, which is always fun. As an older brother, that's what you got to do sometimes. But yeah, following up with next week, we will be having our points race number 6, 100 laps at Martinsville Speedway. James will be here to sit and talk about all the Martinsville glory he has. That will not stop. It will be an ongoing thing. So if you're excited to hear about it,
I'm
that's
glad
where it'll
you
be.
told me. I'm glad you told me which show not to tune into now. Next week, but no, I mean it was this was a great race. Some as not as many cautions as what we thought there might have been, but definitely some interesting moments as well. But this is going to bring our show to an end here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, on JP Broadcasting for the Maine Sim Racing Series and the late model stocks out at Slinger Speedway for 125 laps. We appreciate you being here with us. Appreciate your time as well. Appreciate to Jim for really jumping in at the deep end as a producer here this evening as well. He did a fairly top job for a first outing effort as a producer. It's all right. It's okay. I'm very patient when it comes to production, Jim. It's all good. But yeah, but for myself, Hamish Rondo and Kenton alongside, and then Jim in the background as well. We appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here with us once again. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon as well if you're new here on JP Broadcasting. We've got so much racing coming your way throughout the year of 2025 and throughout the rest of this week as well. But for now, stay safe, drive hard, and as always,